Oh my god. The size comparison is so unique. I think Kiryu has only had one instance in a film. Actually, all of the MechaGodzillas have, except for MechaGodzilla 1974. Although, I don't know why they class MechaGodzilla 1 and MechaGodzilla 2 different. I mean, I guess MechaGodzilla, the original, is more created by aliens, but then the Doctor creates him. I still don't know why they needed him to do that. They could have just created him themselves. Then again, I can't speak English for some reason. But then, when the next film comes around with Titanosaurus in there with MechaGodzilla, apparently this MechaGodzilla is created by the humans. And I'm just thinking, when and where did they get the professor to be able to make this a thing? But then I can't remember if it was Dr. Mifumi, because apparently I think Dr. Mifumi created MechaGodzilla because of, like, he blames the politicians and all that for blaming him for, like, creating the oxygen destroyer, which destroyed the original Godzilla. I can't even hit her. I had to use my special there. Most of my strikes weren't even hitting. Oh, you'll always find a way to make me fight Mothra. Fuck's sake. I love how the screen shakes when he walks. Don't make me do this. Her range closing is so good. I'm still so sick, I hate this. Yeah, okay. Come on now, darling. Calm down. Completely missed her. Stay away from me, you cute fluffy thing, you. That really doesn't affect me at all. Bless her. So what really annoys me about certain techniques she does, because she's brilliant in close quarters, and especially when she uses her defensive pollen. But that head laser thing she does is absolutely weak. It's very weak. It doesn't stagger, it does barely any damage. Only when you roar does it do a little bit more damage. Ah, Rodan. I missed. Even that doesn't affect me. It might just be because of my size, I'm not sure. I specifically love the head design of this MechaGodzilla. It looks so good. Ah. One mech versus another mech. Kind of equal size as well, nearly. I mean, standing in a certain sense. King Ghidorah is easily the largest kaiju. You're not the only one with electrical powers, asshole. Forgive me, I've been so... I've been so ill that I just can't speak properly. Can't tell if it's COVID or if it's a cold. Well, hopefully it is COVID and it's just considered a cold, which means at least the 2 vaccines I took like fucking 2 years ago are still working. Well, that's not really how vaccines work, is it? Vaccines basically just... they're things that inject dead bacteria into your body, and then it prepares the immune system on letting you know when the actual attack occurs. So at least then it knows how to deal with it in a certain sense. It's not as a 2-step forward thing that is. That's why you have to take vaccines constantly, so your body remembers how to fight it in a certain sense, because it's a memory-based thing with certain... Don't remember how you do that. I've tried everything. Fuck you. Under 10 minutes. Not bad. Could be faster, but couldn't get my thing off that much, so. Oh, my neck. Okay, we'll do Gigan now. The Gimp versus the Shithouse. Let's go. He just bitch slapped me. To be fair, he's got very good stagger. I feel like with such an upgraded version of Gigan, he could have like put up more of a fight. Although don't get me wrong, the aerial show he did with Mothra was pretty damn good. First time they ever actually met in a fight together. Can't get it off. And that's the difference between a main villain and a side villain. Pure and utter raw strength. Yeah, I think the first time we were actually introduced to Gigan, I think, was when Godzilla and Anguirus basically took on King Ghidorah and Gigan at the same time. That film was weird. Like, not only did they have, like, cockroaches as aliens for something... No, I'm not talking, like, cockroach people. These were actual human-sized cockroaches. I just thought the whole film was weird. And then they gave Godzilla and Anguirus the opportunity to speak. And I thought, okay, that could have been good if maybe they had like a translator, like what with the Mothra twins, when they kind of translated from Mothra, and Godzilla and Rodan in Astro when they faced King Ghidorah. But for this, they just speak. I think at least in the American dub and the Japanese dub, they do speak. I think you can kind of hear it. No, they don't. No, that never happened in the Japanese version. It was only in the American version where they did that. It was so weird because when I heard it the first time, it was like All I could hear was just Godzilla going, Anguirus! And then you've got, like, Anguirus in the Bleeming Water sounding like a New Yorker, like, what do you want? Or maybe that's Boston, I'm not sure. But it might be the Boston accent. How does the Boston accent go? Kind of like, I don't really want to do it, but... who do you think you are? Is that how the Boston accent goes? Oh, speaking of Boston accent, hello buddy, how are you? Cuts to a bit where they're like swimming towards where they need to go, and Godzilla is just in the water like, hey, Anguilla, come on! There's a lot of trouble ahead! It was so stupid. And there was even one scene where Godzilla's roar just kept fucking up. Like, the soundtrack for his roar was off. It was like, it played for the first second, but then it cut off. How could you not keep the famous Godzilla roar from fucking up? It's just a shit show of a film. And then the film after that came Godzilla vs. Megalon, where they used an awful lot of stock footage from like the fight scene with Gigan, because there was like a scene with Megalon when he like swings towards a plane and you literally see Gigan's claw, and Gigan at that point hadn't even shown up yet, so maybe just a little bit of like care from the director, and maybe they could have been like, okay, maybe we can't use this here, maybe later, you know. But cuts had to be made where cost was a bit high, I'm expecting, you know, so. The rematch. It's going well. I completely missed. You would think one slice from Gigan would be just a fucking terrible day for Mothra. She's made a tougher stuff than you think. Look at this. Look at this. I'm surprised I actually hit her there. She holds her own, don't get me wrong. In Final Wars, like, that Godzilla, put him on the same level with, like, Legendary Godzilla, and I swear he would easily obliterate Legendary. We all know this. Because that fucker, look, he took on every kaiju and nearly killed them all. Yeah, he kind of like took on Ghidorah and it didn't like turn out the same way, but this fucker blew up an asteroid. He took on an asteroid and destroyed it. That's that. Yeah, Mothra was tough as well. Not only did she manage to get a swipe on Ghidorah like Monster X, you know, and then Gigan, she also took him out, blew him up, whilst on fire. She was epic in that. But yeah, Final Wars. Oh, that even reminds me of like Final Wars Godzilla taking on the poorly edited, poorly CGI'd Zilla. And they did that on purpose. You know, because they even like said in one of the earlier lines with the G-Force soldiers talking within the office, they had like a line where the Americans said that they spotted Godzilla, but the sources say that it's wrong. They're obviously talking about Zilla, not Godzilla, because, you know, we all know Zilla is just like undeserving of the name God. What is it people used to say back in the day? That Zilla basically took the god out of the name. And I think the most modern Godzilla put it back in, I think. Put the name God back in, I believe. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the earlier works are not really up to scratch as you care to imagine, like the earlier Showa era films, like, oh my god, don't even talk to me about Revenge of Godzilla. That was just... Who is he getting revenge on? It was just a fever dream between Minya and this other kid that he's speaking to for some reason. Except it wasn't that, it was just this kid having a dream about Minya basically being able to talk to him in English. And why do they give Minion like this stupid ass voice? He spoke like he was an invalid, you know? It's kind of like how he spoke. How was it? It was like, Godzilla tells me that I have to learn how to fight if I want to be the next king of the monsters. And it's just like, oh. Look, I get you're trying to gear it towards children, but you don't have to sound like a moron to do it. You know, kids are like little adults in a certain sense. Just talk to them and they'll talk to you in a certain sense. You don't need to like belittle them by talking like that, you know. Come on, they'll understand. They're not stupid. And the monster, like, really... I can't remember the name of the monster, but it was like this stupid-ass looking... pug-looking, green, ginger-haired-looking monster. And no, not because he's ginger. Jesus, I've got ginger hairs in my beard, basically. I'm not going to take the piss out of a ginger person for that. But it just looks so stupid. It just looks so stupid. Basically, it was a film about, like, anti-bullying or, like, how to deal with a bully and stuff like that. I mean, that's fair, you know, good on them for doing that, but... Jeez, they could have done so much better with that film. It was just an absolute turd in the Toho water pipe of that film. Anyway, I gotta focus now, because Burning Godzilla's coming to burn my singy ass. He just doesn't get affected. Look at this. Oh, that did stagger you then. Come on, motherfucker. He came. You took way too fucking long, oh my god. Keep staggering him, yep, fuck him up. Fuck him up. Fuck him up. Ah! Oh, he just missed me. Fuck him up! I can't lie, Gigan's got some good moves as well. Decent moves. They really did buff him up in this game compared to the film. You didn't really get to see much of him, really. They even gave him, like, big old hand claws. I kind of wish you had the choice to swap them out, because I would really like to see him with the, like, 2 and 2, you know? Like, one hand has a buzzsaw, and the other one has, like, his traditional blades. I just don't like this form of him, really. I don't like the gimp look, you know? It just looks weird. Don't get me wrong, I like the frill on his back. That looks good. And the head's not bad. It's just the rest of him looks like he's wearing a gimp suit. It's just, I don't like it. The traditional look is so much better. Easily better. We come to the final. Godzilla 2014. The Reiwa era. We started with the Showa, we end with the Reiwa era. He is massive, isn't he? Oh, I love that roar. I wasn't a fan of his roar when I first heard it, but as the years have gone by, it's definitely grown on me. Hard to believe that it's already been 10 years. Well, nearly 10 years since the Monsterverse Godzilla has come to us. And ever since then, 2, 3, 4 films have spawned since then. Well, 4th one will spawn soon. Also, King Kong has made a bit of a reoccurrence because of it. I'm all too happy for that. Jesus, this is not a fair fight. Also, this would not canonically happen. I do not think this would canonically happen. Godzilla fighting Mothra. I feel like Godzilla's more of a animalistic kaiju, where as long as a kaiju bows to him and he's got like superiority, then I think he'd be fine. Like with Mothra, it's also a benevolent thing with her. She protects the humans. I think I can grab her. Let me see. It's kind of a piss poor grab, to be fair. I thought you'd have more options with it. That is damaging. I gave him some thick thighs as well. Bloody hell. I'm kind of glad they are actually toning him down and making him a little bit leaner, so he can actually run faster and be more agile. So that way his close quarter combat techniques might be a little bit better now as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it wasn't for him not being lean in 2019, I think that drop that King Ghidorah dropped him from would easily have killed him. I think the only reason why he survived was because of his dorsal place and his thickness. That's right, thickness can save lives. It's not the best breath. That is something I'm glad that they changed in 2019 when they gave him a stronger breath, you know. Like, because that was the whole point of Godzilla, was his atomic breath in a certain sense. In this, it's kind of like a vapor, you know. It's alright, it's just not classic Godzilla, you know. That was something I really detested in that film as well, was not being able to see any action. I get it, they kind of did it to, like, show the mystique of everything, but for fuck's sake, we're there to see the kaijus. Why hide the kaijus? And they also say, well, like, well, you won't have power in the build, you know, at night when, like, there's a kaiju fight going on, you know, all the electrical, like, plants are down because of all the destruction and shit. I understand that. But for a film, you don't do that. Especially when you've got these huge, bulking monsters fighting each other. What would be the point to go and watch it if you can't fucking see it, you know? But they righted that wrong, so most fights are now in daytime. And then when it's nighttime, I like what they did with 2021's version, is when they fought in China. Because, you know, China has now got like these neon towers and all that. It kind of lights up the battlefield for them a little bit, so you can actually see what's going on better. That was a nice touch. You know, give them a playing field which you can clearly see the action on, or otherwise it's just a waste of space and time. Why do you keep making me fight Mothra, man? Cute. I feel like that could be a thing that could happen. Certain things need to be met though. Like maybe Godzilla's not in his right mind, or he's being controlled in a certain sense, you know. Because looking at the symbiotic relationship that they have in Monsterverse, I just can't see them ever, like, fighting against one another in any way, shape or form. Whereas, like, in the Showa era and the Heisei era, it was more ambiguous in a certain sense. Like, Showa era, Mothra was always kind of on Godzilla's side. Whereas in the Heisei era, Mothra was with him, but also fighting against him quite a lot. And in the Reiwa era, it's like stamped out that Mothra is technically the queen kaiju, compared to Godzilla being the king. They are king and queen of the kaiju universe, basically, and of the Monsterverse. Oh, I gotta face the demon butthole. Okay. Demon butthole, come at me. I get that they kind of showed off King Ghidorah a little bit too early, but I feel like if they didn't, then the love for the series might have died off. You know, you've got to bring back those well-known villains. I'm hoping that the twist villain at the end of Godzilla X Kong is Destroyer, in a certain sense. Or hell, I'd be even happy with, like, a new villain, but to be fair, it's the old villains that really bring us back to the original series of Godzilla in a certain sense. Because I know we've already got Scar King and Shimo, who are both new characters, but Scar King is kind of like a carbon copy of Kong. I don't want that to be the case for this series, you know, I don't want it to go down that route as usual. But Shimo's a new character, and I believe they tried to make it seem like Shimo was responsible for the Ice Age, which is kind of a nice way to tie in real-life events with the actual Kaiju. But I feel like there's definitely going to be, like, if not, like, the conclusion to maybe the new character, like, they end up fighting in the next film, then they can continue it on to the next film. Like, they show, like, a sneak peek of the new Kaiju, you know? That would be kind of cool. I'm kind of hoping if not Biollante, then hopefully it'll be Destroyer, because Destroyer is, like, the second most well-known villain, apart from Gigan, of course. Who we got? Burning Godzilla? Kiryu. Equal height. I feel like if they scaled this Godzilla up with this MechaGodzilla, well, actually, no, I think this MechaGodzilla is still quite short compared to Monsterverse's Godzilla, you know, because America like to go big with everything they do. Scale up this MechaGodzilla, this Kiryu, and I think this could be an interesting fight. Because we already know that he kind of failed against the last MechaGodzilla, but I feel that was just due to him fighting Kong all day. Just exhaustion kicks in. And we're not us when we're hungry or when we're exhausted now, are we? Can't fight at full fitness. I'm barely able to get a breath in here. I can't even stagger him. I'm going to finish you with a breath. Oh my god, I can't get it off! Boom! Well, that's it, lads and ladies. Oh, hello, boy. Come say goodbye. Dog's jumped off of my lap. Hello. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Anywho, lads and ladies, thank you all for joining me for this. This was fun. I will probably have another break, maybe a week or two, depends. See what else there is to do, see what life brings us for 2024, and yeah. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about cheesy kaiju flicks, because I've loved them, and I hope you guys have loved them too. Cannot wait for March to come around the corner, especially cannot wait for the new Godzilla X Kong film. That'll be interesting. I'm just hoping it doesn't focus too much on the human character as well, because Western audience is going a bit virtue signaling at the moment, and I'm just hoping they don't do that for this film. Just stick to the kaiju, stick to the normal like script, and it'll be fine. You know, we're there to see the kaijus. The humans, couldn't give two shits about them. Just keep the kaijus on screen and we're good. That's all that matters. Or go the -1 route and actually make characters that are likable, you know, and the ones that you want to root for. That's always a better option. But anyway, with that, lads and ladies, thank you ever so much for watching, and yes, as always, take care, my friends, and I'll see you in whatever I next do around here. Take care, my friends.